Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to point out to Americans that are watching this, the reason we're cutting spending is because we have a $2 trillion budget deficit. A $2 trillion budget deficit, even though tax revenues have been higher than they've ever been in the history of the country. I would also point out that in January, the U.S. trade deficit hit a record $130.7 billion. Nobody on the Republican side of the aisle felt like we could fix the trade deficit or the budget deficit by simply saying pretty please. I don't think the American citizens expected us to be able to fix them by saying pretty please either. We made it very clear there was going to be some short-term pain to save the dollar as the world currency. And so I'm glad that trade deals are now being negotiated in a manner that will be equitable for both parties, and I look forward to the reduction in that trade deficit, which will lead to an increase in jobs and opportunities inside the United States of America. Now, I think work is a good thing. I don't mind telling you that. I think it's a good thing, and when you tell people that they don't have to work, you're not helping them, because when they don't work, money is not being paid into the Social Security system on their behalf, and when they reach retirement age, that is going to have an impact on their Social Security benefits. Is that correct? Is that correct? Does anybody dispute that? So when you're telling people that they don't have to work, you're actually, the end result of that is a reduction in their employment benefits. So let's talk about jobs. Mr. Schaefer, most of the open jobs across the country no longer require a college degree, but some type of credential. In fact, those jobs actually pay more than most of the jobs with college degrees now, especially in the Southeast. Can you talk about the types of Credentials Center for Employment Opportunities offers, and how do you make sure that they are in demand and aligned with the industry needs of your region?
It's a great question, and really this has to be looked at. When we look at advanced training, we look at the credentials CEO offers or other workforce providers offer, it has to be done in a geographically specific way. I heard my colleague, Mr. Tidwell, talk about the petrochemical industry and the training required for that. And I can say with great confidence that that training is not necessary in our Fresno, California office, where there is not a petrochemical industry. And so that scan often identifies a few things that are consistent: construction trades, as well as commercial driver's licenses. But then when you go a level deeper, you may see that it's IT, it's more specialized trainings in healthcare that could be beneficial. And what really unifies and makes these all an opportunity is that the E&T program, right, which was expanded to offer paid training and apprenticeships in the 2018 Farm Bill, is a tremendous mechanism to help pay for these trainings for folks who are looking to achieve self-sufficiency.
So, Dr. Rashidi, we've heard a lot today about how work requirements don't work. Can you explain the limitations of the studies commonly cited by those who make the argument, make that argument, and what evidence do we have from the 96 reforms that were made to the cash welfare programs that work requirements are in the best interest of both the country and the people that are going back to work?
It's a great question. The evidence we have on work requirements in SNAP is pretty limited because we've never actually had a randomized control trial like we had with the welfare reforms in the late 1996 period. So the description of high quality studies I would dispute slightly because it's just limited. Some of the studies that are out there are constrained by data limitations, methodological limitations. But regardless of that, we do have evidence from the late 1990s using more rigorous methods that work requirements can improve employment. It was in a different context, different population, but it certainly points to the potential for evidence. And the last thing I'll just add is there's multiple outcomes that can come from work requirements. One is being an increase in employment, so that affects people who are not working, who then are incentivized to work. The other is the disclosure of unreported employment. And I think that that is something that is a very real thing and would not show up on increased employment levels, but it does ensure that the benefits are targeted in the
My
appropriate
time
way.
has expired, but thank you, and I just want to end with, work is a good thing, and you're not helping anybody by telling them they don't have to work.